Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayiwa Mesale and today I'm joined by Milola. So tonight we're Milola women.
Yes, sir.
We're rocking Milola clothes and we're here live by ourselves. Sadly, Eke couldn't join us tonight. She had an emergency she needed to sort out. But I'm very looking lovely. You know, my Milola dress.
Beautiful, my
Thank you. Well I'm a casual lady. You are the signature
woman.
And also, you look like the rich auntie vibe, so it's fine. How are you?
I'm very well, my darling.
How was your day? So what did you do today?
Today was quite eventful. I had work as usual. My routine is quite predictable. In the morning, I wake up. I dropped the girls at summer school, stopped over in production, got back home, did my workout, did some product formulation, went back to production, had a meeting afterwards, went back to the store, and now I'm here. I had to sleep a bit later this evening. I was really tired.
Well, you look well rested, though.
I guess I had a cup of coffee. Coffee always kicks me back on, however tired I am. Once I take a cup, I'm good to go.
You're good to go. Sadly, I'm not a coffee person.
What? You don't drink coffee, you are not complete.
Don't worry, I'm complete, very complete.
I wake up to a cup of coffee. Without coffee, I can't even wake up in the morning.
I'm a tea person. Give me any kind of tea, I'll take.
I love tea, but
and without anything, without honey, without nothing. I just love it like that. Yes.
Wow.
When I do coffee, I do a mixture of coffee and the cream. Remember the
sugar?
The
Which is that one? Latte.
It's a formulation I will teach you.
Which one is that one?
But the cream they sell in the bottle, different brands. We are not marketing them, so I can't call their name.
Okay.
The Irish cream.
That's what you drink coffee with.
So you mix it with coffee.
You're drinking
No.
milk.
It's called Bucks Fizz. One of my coaches taught us how to take that. Really nice.
Nice.
You should try it.
It's for the taste then.
Make the coffee extra thick, then put a bit of Irish cream in it. Oh my God, it takes you to heaven.
Really? I'll try that sometime.
But I don't indulge too much because it's also...
It's fattening.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, so we're discussing, we're talking entrepreneurship today, SMEs, small businesses, and the challenges and all of that. So it's so good that you are on set, I am on set, and we have an amazing guest with us. And here's what we found as today's quote. Small business is not for the faint heart. It is for the brave, the patient, and the persistent. It's for the overcomer. This is from an unknown source. Honestly speaking, for you to run small businesses, you're already a winner because it is not easy to run a small business, especially here in Nigeria.
You bet.
Yeah. All right, so it's our business day, as I mentioned earlier, and tonight we will be highlighting some of the common challenges facing small business owners in Nigeria. Small business owners and prospective entrepreneurs must be aware of these challenges to enable them to prepare adequately. So Adiola Paul Inyang is here to share her challenges as we share ours, because we're also business women. But first, we'll take a break to see what we found in the news. You're still watching Ways now. No matter what language, people around the world love lottery games. On International Lottery Day, every August 27, we're all dreaming about euros, dollars, pounds, lei, yen, whatever it is. Why? Because lottery-style games have gone mobile these days, so it's easier than ever to play. So today is a day where we all try our luck, and you never know, a life-changing sum of money could just be on the horizon. Why do I not like lottery? I do not really lottery. I don't like to gamble.
I don't gamble. I don't think I win at gambling. I take risks actually, but gambling is not something I'm favorably disposed to. People really gamble a lot.
Especially that red box. It is everywhere. You know the red box. I don't want to call the brand. There's a red box. It's everywhere.
I know.
And trust me, these people truly believe that they will hit a jackpot.
They do sometimes by fluke, and then they take it to be that they can win more, and then they keep it going.
Do you know the millions of dollars that this business is raking?
They do.
And again, now these days, they've moved betting. Whatever, lottery to sports.
That's the one that is the cash cow. Trust me, there's a huge investment in that sector.
I'm telling you. So
and people are making a killing. Somehow, they let them win. That's what I think. they let them win to entice
Because it's somebody that's controlling all those algorithms.
Yes, they're deliberate. It's just a calculated guess. It was like a skit I saw on Instagram, and they said pay the what's it called? The Crate Challenge. They said pay 500 naira to win 10,000 naira. That's what lottery is, isn't it? And they saw a guy that was close to winning, and they wanted the guy to go knock down the crate. Because they don't want you to win, but sometimes they're going to give you a feel of winning.
They lay bait.
Yeah, so when you make some money, you think, oh, it was easy, I got lucky. Something in your, when we're young and we used to do all this game, and we used to pick balloon. Trust me, I picked the smallest balloon. So I realized very early that I would never win at betting or gambling
or
of
lottery.
any sort, you know, so I never touch it.
Well, for those that love to play lottery, today is your day. I hope you did one today. All right, so let's see what we found in the news. Milola, what did you find for us in the news?
What I have in the news is from Premium Times, and is still on the doctor strike. As negotiation flops, Nigerian government implements no work, no play rule. The striking doctors are stuck to their gun, saying the government's hard stance would not force them to suspend its almost 1 month strike. I remember last time we talked about comparing where our priority lies, whether we focus on doctors as against the ranches that they are building to keep away the herds and everything like that.
Yeah.
But the Nigerian government has instructed all major federal tertiary health institutions where members of the National Association of Resident Doctor NERD are currently on strike to implement the no work, no pay rule, beginning from 2nd August, when the nationwide industrial action commenced. But the striking doctors have stuck to their gun, saying the government hard stance will not force them to suspend its almost 1 month strike.
Absolutely.
It's very disturbing to see that where there's a bit of dictatorship in that rule, where you force people that because they're agitating for something that is rightfully theirs, and then because of that, you're going to tell them that if they did not work, then they do not get paid. I think there's a bit of cruelty to that stance, and it makes nonsense of the cries that they put out. It makes nonsense of the pleas that they're putting and their demands, which is not something they should have to demand for in the first place. We have a government that is sensitive and that is responsive to the needs of the people. But then, it is what it is. I guess Nigeria is very peculiar with some of these issues.
Yeah.
So the Federal Ministry of Health, in a circular dated 26, which is actually today, directed all chief medical directors, medical and registrars at the federal health institution to implement the no work, no pay rule. The Trade Dispute Act on special provision with respect to payment of wages during strikes and lockouts, known in labor practice as no work, no pay rule.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So it's actually interesting, but you know, even all this back and forth is not going to help anybody, because even now, the National Association of Residents Doctors, they have also gone out to bring out a communique to say, you know what, whatever it is that you're doing, we're sticking, and we are going to stick to the no work, and the strike will continue. Well, my story is actually rather a sad one, because they say when two elephants fight,
that was the exactly line that I was going to pick up right now.
It is the grass that suffers.
Mm.
So my story is actually a very heartbreaking story where a CNN reporter went to a hospital, a public hospital, to see witness this young man called Emmanuel Agbenro sitting helplessly inside his sparsely decorated ward at the hospital. You know, he was supposed to be having treatment for colon cancer, but the doctors in Nigeria have downed their tools, as we all know, because of the nationwide strike that started on the 2nd of August. So this young man is there, abandoned. He says, you know, in his words, he says, I am surviving by faith. And who is supposed to be, so this guy was supposed to have started his 2nd round of chemotherapy at the state-run hospital in Abuja. And he says that he has not received any treatment since 2nd of August, which was the day that this strike started. Began. You know, so, and again, when they reached out to some medical professionals in the hospital, some of the staff in the hospital told CNN that there are no doctors on ground. So what they are doing is that patients that have very bad conditions are referred to private hospitals. Yes, he said, because there are no doctors that can take care of those medical needs. Yeah, he says also they've asked that they do not mention them, the people, all of these people, everybody's claiming anonymity because everybody's, again, afraid of losing their jobs or whatever it is, you know. And again, if you look at it, this is really sad because for someone like this young man, going to a private hospital to go for therapy, chemotherapy and all of that is going to be almost like 4 or 5 times the cost of what he would have spent in this government hospital. So people go to government hospitals in this country because they believe that they are getting treatments for cheaper.
Absolutely.
You understand? So if you are now pushing them to go to the, it's as good as telling them, you know, just go home and wait for your time to die.
I know.
Because some of them cannot afford
to pay
to
for
go to
private hospital
private
bills.
hospitals. You know, so it's actually very sad. And this is where I want our government officials, the federal government, to actually sit down and going back again to what we had talked about on Tuesday, where truly is our priority? Because this is just one person in a hospital. Have we gone to all hospitals to see patients that are being abandoned or are dying because they are not able to?
This only made the news. What about countless of people that have lost life? We're lucky this man is still alive, and we don't know what his state will be in the next coming days or weeks because he's obviously in pain. And it's really sad that this is the situation of this country. Sometimes I'm pretty much confused as to where do we go from here? You know, we had a lengthy conversation the other time about the state of the economy, but then what do we do, really?
You know, I was even thinking...
You just pray that you have a good health, because
with
if
these
you ever
hospitals,
fall ill, you're going to find yourself in a very sad state.
It's a bad state. You know, with these even hospitals, I'm even thinking in my head, why do we even need to have government hands involved? What I think the government can do is, why don't we allow maybe public-private partnership or something that they are out of the administrative, you know, let the hospitals run themselves. What you do is just subsidize because I do not know how they operate. Well, but good thing is that we're actually having some doctors coming to talk to us next week because we want to deal with this situation.
It's worrisome.
We're going to be having some of the ESCO members and all of that come talk to us because it's very important that we even understand where this is happening because amidst all of this, doctors are leaving Nigeria on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
You know, so we are even saying that
everyone is protecting their own self-interest.
Absolutely.
And do you blame them? No, you don't.
You can't.
If you find yourself in a country where your life does not matter, you will not put yourself on the job just because you want to be patriotic. And that was what we talked about, how patriotic are Nigerians. A lot of us we've been dealt a lot of hostile hands. And it has created a vacuum. It has taken away our humanness, to put it that way. It's made a lot of people very hostile and very mean, which is really wrong, because then we're going down the wrong path very fast, you know. But like you said, you bring in someone next week and let's see how we can discuss this further.
All right, so we are talking, this is even part of what we're talking about because there is a business at the end of the day. So we're talking challenges of small businesses, and we have our guests with us. When we come back from the break, we'll have that conversation. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, with a population of about 200 million people and touted as the largest market in Africa, one will be quick to assume that doing business in Nigeria will be a walk in the park. But small business owners will tell you otherwise. Many challenges confront small business owners, and especially here, making it difficult for many businesses to reach their full potential. Now, according to World Bank report, Nigeria ranked about 131 out of 189 countries regarding the ease of doing business. As a result, 80% of small businesses fail in 3 years. This is not to say that there aren't business succeeding, but not enough business owners are well equipped for the challenges ahead. And so a lot of the business enterprises either pack up completely or remain redundant without growing. Now, tonight we would be speaking with various small businesses and business owners to hear some of their challenges that they face. And if you are a small business owner watching, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. So, Milola, I'm going to bring in Diola in a minute or two, but I just wanted to hear like a summary of what you think, or what you go through in your business, because you are a business owner, I'm a business owner, so.
Can I really summarize the challenges of entrepreneurship? It's a lot. There are no things that people don't already know about, but we just need to talk about it. One, to let people know that we have shared pain, that we have shared prosperity, and to discuss it in such a way that per adventure we might be able to find help. If possibly someone is watching the TV or the show, they may be able to point us in the direction of help. Challenges of entrepreneurs are huge, and they cut across different sizes. Now, when you talk about SMEs are people that are supposed to be categorized between the small and medium enterprise. Sometimes I don't call myself small and medium enterprise because I like to be where I want to go mentally. You can only go as far as your eyes can see. And if you're not careful and you self-sabotage yourself by thinking that you're small, then how do you think you're going to be big? So I do not entirely appropriate myself as an SME business, but the challenges that plague SME plague my business right now while I'm going forward into being a multinational.
A conglomerate.
A conglomerate, you get that right.
Importer, exporter.
SMEs have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It comes starting from finance. Why do people do business? That's the first thing we want to talk about. Why do people become entrepreneurs? Some entrepreneurs are born. A bunch of us are made. We're made out of the state of the economy. We're made out of the state of lack of job, which is really what drives a lot of people into entrepreneurship.
True.
There are those of us that have a natural knack for business. I want to think I'm a born entrepreneur. And why do I say that? Because I've started doing business from a very young age. Right from the time I was probably in my primary school days, I would see my grandma, whom I grew up with, do business, and then I would tear off a little bit for myself and start something by the side. And it was natural. It wasn't something that I was told to do. I wasn't compelled to do it. I didn't need to do it to survive. But I felt that I wanted to be self-sustained. So I started business really, really early. And it has really helped my business journey so far. Now, there are some of us that are born entrepreneurs, and there are some of us that have been forced into being an entrepreneur because of the state of the economy. In spite of whether you're a born entrepreneur or you're a made entrepreneur, we still face the same challenges. The major challenge, a lot of us will think, is finance. But it's not. It is people. To find people that are credible, to find people that are committed, to find people that can share your vision is a huge challenge in this country. The social media space has forced a lot of people into having unrealistic goals.
Yeah.
And they are not patient. People are not willing to go through the work and the process of developing themselves. A man that must lead must first follow. You would always have a challenge of a lot of people like staff, credible staff, reliable staff. If you find one that is good, but to find credible, reliable people to drive your business with you, because you can't do everything on your own. How do you make money? How do you stretch yourself? Other people's time, other people's effort, other people's resources. If you're not able to leverage those three components, you would end up struggling, and you will always remain an SME.
Absolutely.
That's it for me, really.
Okay, so let me just bring in our guest. and friend of the house. Diola Paul Inyang is the CEO of Scent of Africa and the director at Abella Center for Olfactory Art. She is a trained artistic perfumer, creator, and educator. Diola's brand, Abella, just requires an encounter, and you will be stuck for life with that brand. And you know what? If you come into my home, you will know why.
I
Very
perceived
beautiful.
a scent once.
Beautiful. And
Once.
she's joined us live via Zoom. Thank you so much, Diola, for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
The woman that makes me want to go home all the time, because when I go home, I just smell the freshness of my home and I say, wow, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's really an honor to have you with us. So Diola, tell me, you heard Milola talking about the challenges of SMEs. I know that for me, in my business, it has always been people. That part, I share that part with her, where you're not able to find people that want to share your dream. You want to give them the leverage to be able to build with you, but when they start to build with you and they start to see certain kinds of income flow coming in and all of that, all of a sudden they're thinking, I want to go and start my brand. So is that a common thing for all SMEs in Nigeria? Or what's unique to you?
Well, yes and no. Right. I share a lot of Milola's challenges, but I had to dig deep into the reasons why we have a lot of these issues, right? And I'm beginning to realize that as much as the problem is with people, with funding, all of those things are functional problems, but we have serious social problems. We have serious systemic issues that would affect the growth of any SME in Nigeria. You mentioned something earlier, and you said that it takes, in order for you to be in business, that quote that you had, that you had, that business is not for the faint-hearted.
It's not for the faint-hearted. You have to be persistent.
Honestly, in Nigeria, it's another story. It's another story. It's actually not for the faint-hearted. Generally, I would say that my major problems, and yes, people problem, but I think I've kind of resolved that a little bit, and I'll explain that a little while later. But the real issue is systemic. The issues border around values. You see, values will inspire people, and people will inspire policies. Policies will inspire systems.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, when the value system is broken, then we have all of these issues. When I look back at everything that is happening today, so generally, whether you're in Nigeria, you're in the Americas, you're in Europe, every entrepreneur has their own challenges.
Absolutely.
Right. The difference between us and them is the system. What I mentioned, the value, the people, the policy, and the system. So I count the problems under those four categories. So if we don't have the right values, we can't really push forth anything. We're really going to be straining and straining ourselves along the way. And that's the reason why when I itemized all the issues and I said to myself, first and foremost, what kind of value what kind of people that carry the kind of values that I am looking for to carry my business through, do I want to come into the business? So to sort out the issues with people. So if you don't have values, I don't know how you want to move. Now, we've also tried as best as we can from a business standpoint to let our business, our brand, make a statement that we will not be able to make at every point in time. So it's all about still passing those same values. And I think that's the way we have chosen to do what it is that we do. So that's generally what I see. I think issue-wise, I'm not sure funding is the problem.
Because honestly, if you look at even currently now, if you look at across the financial sectors, whether it be microfinance banks or the main commercial banks or the central banks and all of that, there have been some level of attention given to SMEs because, of course, we know that the drivers of any economy are SMEs. They are the ones that are the highest employers of labor. So, to some extent, there are available funds. But it is, for me, okay, yes. So in that accessibility, I was opportune to be in the program where they put in a couple of business owners, CEOs into a room, and I was one of them. And we were talking, and part of the challenges that a lot of businesses face, small businesses, is a lack of proper structure, Diola. And I know you would agree with me and Milola. We do not put in proper structures. And again, you see, when it comes to funding or financing any business, they do not care who you are. They just want to see your books. And these books, if it is not properly documented, you cannot say that, I've been doing business since 1950.
20 years.
Where is the proof? Right? That is the biggest challenge that I see that a lot of small businesses have. They are not able to account or document whatever it is that you're running as a business, so that even if you are not there tomorrow, somebody can just walk into your system and see the flow and say, you know what, I think this business is viable and I want to invest my money in it. So why are we having those challenges? Is it that, like you rightly said from the beginning, that people just, out of the fact that I did not get it, they're not deliberate about being business people. They're just, let me just look for something to do.
They're surviving.
Right?
Different things drive people to start business, like I said. Is it something that is innate, or is it something that is induced by the economy? If you find yourself trying to get a job and you can't find a job, and you dabble into being an entrepreneur, there's no doubt that you will struggle. And it's okay not to understand how to figure stuff out, but it's okay to learn. There are different skills that is required for business that a lot of business owners do not understand. There's the interpersonal skill, there's an accounting skill, there's people management skill that people do not acquire. These fundamental skills that would help you. Now, if there's an issue or there's a complaint, there's a way I handle it around my business. That interpersonal skill, a lot of people do not have it. They can write it on their CV when you're trying to interview them for a job, and they can mention all the kind of skills that they have, but you understand that most entrepreneurs are the ones that is doing the marketing, doing the accounting, doing the customer service, doing the buying and the selling, the entire value chain that should be structured and put people in charge of it. They do not have a structure. And why don't they have structures? Primarily, short-sightedness. People do not see themselves beyond survival. It also has to do with their pricing. When people price their commodity, they price it based on survival because they think that all I need is to get enough. Let me make a sale so that I can sell. They do not think about the long-term effect of pricing and how it would affect their business on the long term. So you would have, there are myriads of challenges. You hit one headlong, which is around accessing finance or funding that is available for SMEs. What some people do, they form cooperative. And then through that body, because BOI, CBN, through any government intervention funds, you're not going to be able to just go there and share a story that touch, and then they are going to open the pocket and give you the fund. You need to be able to show track record. What's your books like? What have you been doing? What's your projection? Can you articulate clearly? You know, not even that.
But in a professional way.
Yes, you can form a cooperative where you do similar businesses, particularly categorizing all of us as SME is quite disrespectful. That's why I don't like that title, really. There's some people, like the market people, that sell, they are the lowest rung of entrepreneurs. They still consider me and them entrepreneurs.
No, wait.
No, what I'm saying
Diola, let me come to Diola, because I know that the category for businesses is based on your volumes.
Yes.
So if you do a certain amount of money monthly,
up to 25 million naira, that's what you consider as an SME.
So
there are some people that the entire business does not exceed 5,000 naira a month. And they still have
they call them MSMEs. That's micro, small. Yes. But let me come to you, Diola. So, when I talked about the structure, what's your take on that?
Structure is everything, quite honestly. It's everything. And I've seen a lot of businesses lose the opportunity to get what they should finance because of poor structure or lack of structure. It's interesting that you talked about finance, and very true. when you don't have the right structure, you're not keeping the right books, you obviously cannot take advantage of the opportunities that are in the system. But my perception is a bit different. And here it is. Why is it that a lot of our businesses are unable to be structured?
Tell us why.
So it still comes back to the system. We are not prepared. We are not deliberate about building entrepreneurs as a nation. We are not seeing the SMEs as the core of the company's wealth. Absolutely. Any country that you find that is going to be successful, they have a large chunk of people within the middle class. And a lot of the people that create that middle class are the small businesses. Or rather, let me put it straight. The SMEs are the ones that account for the most GDP of any country.
Yes,
now, if you want to build a country that is rich, then you have to be deliberate about building the businesses. Now, here it is. We've done so much as a nation. You go for a lot of programs. I'm sure a lot of you, Milola, you've gone for a lot of training programs that are available, different things that are out there. They come, we jump. When they say there's money here, we are moving there. We're going everywhere. You know, the question is, why do we still have these problems? And I always say the problem is from the foundation. Are we deliberate about teaching from the primary school, from the secondary schools, from the university levels, how people should be entrepreneurs? That's the question. And entrepreneurship is not all about, I own my business. Even within a business, there are people who are called entrepreneurs. How, as an employee, are you thinking the business like the owner of the business? We are not deliberate. And we need to address these issues. Otherwise, we'll keep on talking on this table. Many other tables will still come. 5 years down the line, we're still talking the same thing. 20 years, we're still talking about the same thing if we're not deliberate about these things.
Absolutely. You know what? Let's just go for a very short break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. It's getting heated. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we are having a chat with our CEO, Diola Paul Eyang, and Milola, and myself. We are all CEOs on the challenges of small businesses in Nigeria. You need to join the conversation, especially if you're a business owner. Please share your concerns with us. Let us know. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So, I mean, Diola, you just summed it up nicely. Every country that is very serious about building the economy must take SMEs seriously, and this is not plain to lip service. I remember when we had one of the representatives of the ease of doing business, what's his name? I can't remember his name now, from the federal government, and we're talking to him. I said, see, all this your ease of doing business, right? It looks so beautiful on paper, but you as a small business, try to execute. Access some of these things that you have laid down, ease of doing business, you can get this, you can get that. It is very difficult. And so I keep on saying that, are we really serious about building this economy? Because in one breath, you say there are funds available. In another breath, even for the people that have taken their time
to keep their books,
to make sure that they tick all the boxes when it comes to, you begin to ask for unrealistic unrealistic collaterals and all of that you know this business cannot meet up with. You already know that this business is going somewhere. There's a trajectory. Why can't you as a country say, you know what, this business needs the support, and you move on? Then we also talk about when we talk about financing, we talk about double-digit loans. How can any business survive with some kinds of exorbitant charges that they put? So these challenges are real, you know. But I like the fact that we are talking to ourselves as business owners, and I want to ask, what can we, you know, Diola, I'll come to you, then I'll come to Milola. what can we as small business owners begin to do differently? So we have talked about the challenges, we've talked about structure, we've talked about all of those things. Are there things that we can begin to do? There was something you mentioned earlier that I don't think you have really hit it well, when you said that you are looking out for people that their values tie with yours, so that they're able to carry your business to the next level. How you're able to select the right people, you understand? Maybe you should walk us through how can we begin to do the right things to ease off some of these challenges that we face. We already know that most businesses, have people problem.
Something interesting, and it borders around a lot of entrepreneurs not being deliberate, or they just stumble into entrepreneurship without a plan to be there. And what I have observed is a lot of small businesses, I'm not talking about those who are already in the medium scale, but the small businesses, the startups, the people who, they just have an idea and they say, okay, I want to do this, I want to get into business. They don't know anything about business. They don't have a pathway to follow. A lot of them don't have people they don't have mentors, or they don't have people who have gone through the same track in their families, probably in their circle and all that. So many people get into the businesses. It's like they're thrown into the deep end without knowing how to move, where to move, and all of that. So firstly, if you want to be in business, then you need to be deliberate about what kind of business am I going into and why am I going into business.
Very much.
The why is very important. When you've understood why, what is inspiring that why within me is so important. When you can't understand that, you will not understand the personality of the business that you're even driving. When you don't understand the personality of the business that you're driving, you will not know the personality of the people who are going to carry your dream through.
Absolutely.
So these things are, I still said something about going back. We often always look at the problem. So we see a tree and we see that a tree is infected. So, and we're looking, oh, this tree is so infected. But are we going back into asking, why is this tree infected? So let me give you a scenario. Would I call it a scenario? So I was in a farm 2 days ago, and I was discussing with the farm owner. It was just a small subsistence farm, and she had some orange trees, lemon trees, and all. And I was inspecting it for us to take some of the foliage for us for extraction. And I looked at all the trees, and I found out that they were infected with, I don't know, some kind of I don't know what, I'm not an agri person, but it was infected, and I knew that we couldn't use these plants. And the next thing that came to me was, why are they infected? I noticed the same thing with another tree that was way behind. And I had to start looking around the trees to see what could be affecting the trees. Was it the soil, or was it the environment in which it was? And I noticed something very interesting. All the trees that were infected were all beside a banana tree.
Whoa.
And that I then asked, why? Why is it the ones that are beside the banana trees? Why are they the ones being affected? And this, I don't have the chemistry behind this, but there's obviously something there. What am I trying to say? Is that when we are seeing a problem, we look at the environment and see what is causing this thing to act this way, and you try to isolate that issue. So in my business, what I've had to do is, there's a people problem. I had this issue some years ago. We kept on hiring different people, and somehow they were just not fit into the vision that I was looking at. And I said, the problem is a lot of them are bringing in baggage from wherever it is that they are coming from. Absolutely. And trying to instill the same baggage into a system that is totally different. And I had to make a decision. Okay, now what I'm doing is relatively novel. It's not a mature industry just yet in Nigeria. We need to train these people from the scratch. So I was deliberate about getting interns that I was now deciding, look, we will train you from this time on forward. But what was the most important thing that we're looking for? How teachable are you? How teachable are you? If you're not teachable, then I don't have any business even hiring you, because you cannot deliver what it is that I'm expecting you to deliver. So for me, investing in training doesn't mean that you have to send them to some
Fancy place.
fancy place. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's training on the job. So what is important as an entrepreneur, I chose to know what it is that I'm doing. And I chose to follow the dream and the vision that I have set aside, because I know where I'm going to. It's easy to carry people along on that journey.
Absolutely.
So it's easy for me now to write the vision plainly on their heart so that they can run with it.
That's right.
That's it. I love what Diola is saying, because it ties nicely to what you had mentioned earlier about if you as an entrepreneur, you are not seeing yourself beyond this place, if you're not seeing the future that I am building a global company, I'm building a conglomerate. You would definitely not hire the right people that would take you there.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, right?
Diola is very
spot on.
When you see entrepreneurs, there are some of us, like I said, that are just doing it for survival, and there are some of us that are building a company. She's deliberate, she's intentional, she's consistent. And one thing I know about universal law is that whatever it is that you put out as your energy, as your vibration, you're going to attract it. That's where the law of vibration comes in. If you're really desiring to acquire the good people, you find the good people in your space. Sometimes people do not prepare themselves enough. Have I been unlucky with staff? No, I haven't. I've been quite lucky with them. But the only concern that I have, which is a major drag for me, is micromanaging staff. I've had people that stay. I'm in the fashion business. People always give a lot of challenges and woes around keeping tailors. I've been lucky to keep my tailors as much as 3 years. They stay. And what did I do differently? Remuneration. Everybody is interested in themselves first before they can run with your vision. Every now and again, I get a feedback from my staff. I feel if I give them a form, like a questionnaire, and I ask them to fill it, those that are not learned enough, I ask someone else to help them. I don't want your name, I just want you to tell me how you feel working with me. And some of the feedback that can be very staggering. Some of them have to humble me to look at things a bit differently, because sometimes we are very self-righteous in our approach, and we think that, oh, I'm doing it for the good of the people. I care about everybody so much, but they don't share that sentiment with you. Even with your best of intention, you can misrepresent yourself.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you need to wait and get a feedback from these people, and they will help you to understand that. As much as you are willing to acquire teachable and coachable spirit. Now, what's the difference for me between a teachable spirit and a coachable spirit? If I teach you something, you understand it. If you can replicate it, I've coached you. So now you can want to acquire that person as a staff, but are you, as the boss, also teachable? Can we swallow our pride and take the backlash of criticism that I beat? Because when I did that in the beginning of the year, I was depressed. I was sad. Like, I felt that. I thought I was doing it right, and then I asked them, do you understand the brand big vision? Just like Diola said, write down the vision, make it plain that an herald may run with it. It's a verse that we all are conversant with.
Yeah.
And how do you make it plain? By consistently talking about it. How do I manage to keep staffs in my business? I do management meeting with them. This is something that I pick off civil service as a civil servant. They do management meeting every month. So I make sure to do management meeting with my staff every 2 weeks. With the production staff, and with the admin staff every 2 weeks. So every week we are discussing through the businesses. Another thing that I do to help me keep staff is to pay every fortnight. I do not pay monthly. I understand that what matters to them is their pay. As long as they get their money, they are staying. They would hardly not find anywhere where they will be paid every 2 weeks. I picked that from the UK system. So when I got back, I said, I was actually paying every week, but I realized the cash flow was getting a bit too messy. So I said, every two weeks, we would make payment. And because I already conditioned my mind to pay, it was convenient. I didn't have to part with a chunk of funds at the end of the month because half month I've already cut it in half. And they get paid based on the work that they do anyways. They've done the job. At the end of the day, they finish a particular job. So it pushes them. If they performed not so great in 2 weeks, it pushes them to want to do better in the second week. So that's how you do. But above and beyond that, another major challenge that I identify is there's a business of products and there's a business of services. I've tried to dabble into service and I flopped at it. It's a huge task to find staff that would handle services on your behalf without them bringing their old baggage of lack of discipline into your business.
Is it only that? Or they begin to go to your clients and
they
do home
no
services?
doubt steal your customers.
Yeah.
They would sabotage the business. So I find out that it's easier for me to do product-driven business
than
services.
But let me come to Diola as well. You know, for you, you've been able to stay on the path because I see again there's a lot of confusion when it comes to challenges of small businesses. They begin to see that, okay, I'm doing so well with this. I can always add this. I can always add that. I can always add that. Yes, it is actually not bad. There are some products that actually complement whatever it is that you're doing as a brand, right? Like you now, you're going into educating, you're going into training because in those days before Faith brought me to Diola, I used to have a friend that would import the Yankee candles from the US. We couldn't buy anything because if you see even the little ones that were local candles and all that, it was horrible. But when I stumbled on her brand, the room sprays, it is amazing. And there's so much detail to Diola's packaging. It is crazy. Like you look at the box and you think that they actually imported this thing from Paris or something.
Nice.
It's that nice. I mean, Diola is one person I love her brand so much because I can beat my chest. You can buy this product and send it to President Buhari and he will think I brought it from
from Paris.
Why did you choose to? Because some businesses would have decided, you know what, let me play, even I've noticed that with your brand, let me play it small. But you invested from day one. You were very particular about how you wanted your brand to be seen. You know, why did you do that? Because I see this as a big challenge with a lot of small businesses, right? They are not able to project quality when it comes to their brand. You know, you just see some things haphazardly done. How would you get business? How would your business grow? But how were you able to do that, Diola?
First and foremost, I must tell you that I think my head is actually it's swelling. But thank you very much. I really appreciate that. What you said just it gives us courage to keep on doing what it is that we do. But let me say this. I have a statement that I often say to anyone who gets to listen. Excellence is an expensive venture. And you pay with sweat and blood.
I should take note of that.
The quest for excellence, especially in Nigeria, is very tiresome. I can tell you without a doubt that it first starts with having an excellent spirit. Remember what I talked about with values. Values. You see, there's nothing that we can say. I will still always go back to the very fundamental. You see, that part is very key. What do we learn in our families is very important. So I think I learned a lot from my parents. I saw my mom deliver. She loved things that were excellent. She loved things that were pristine. As it just had to be good. My mom, I always say she's a Fifth Avenue shopper. She loves those things. And quite honestly, I think my first interaction with perfumery, I would say, is from her. When she bought the very expensive, exquisite perfumes of those times. But what was my inspiration? For a very long time, and you would attest to this, only until probably the last 5 years, thereabout, most products that were tagged made in Nigeria were they were sorry sights, quite honestly. It was very disheartening to see a lot of the products. And I realized that I think it's because people don't pay attention to those fine details that some of us were probably trained, we were trained to be like that. Now, when I noticed this, I'm like, no, why? I've seen a lot of excellent Nigerians. So what is the problem? Why do we keep on having these kind of issues? And then I said, you know what? I'm going into business, right? At this time, I really wasn't even sure exactly what dimension I was going into. But I said to myself, if I am going into it, then I'm going to be excellent at it. And that I want to create something that when they see it, it will sit neck to neck with an international brand or a global brand, and you will not know the difference. And I realized something. The perception that we have as a nation was because one person did bad, another person did bad, another person did bad, and we started having a very lopsided perception. And I said, but it took one bad person to give us a bad name. But why not? If one good brand can actually sell itself globally and change the dynamic.
Absolutely. Well done. Well done. You're doing it.
And that's it. And that's it. So now, coming to being deliberate, yes, we're deliberate. But here was not the problem. Okay, I have this bogus idea, this big thing, I want to do this. Oh my God, I want people to do this. But here you are operating in a system that people are not trained to see things that way. So how are they going to deliver those results for you? That was the biggest headache that I had. And what I then had to do initially was that, okay, look, at this point in time, I can vouch for my own quest for excellence, but I'm bringing in people into a system. I can't vouch for their quest for excellence. I then had to ask myself, what exactly would spur the average Nigerian to give you the excellence that they need? And I realized that the average Nigerian, by default, I don't know, by default, I would say, we are kinetic in our approach to doing things. We are not necessarily originators. And that, I think, it comes by, I don't know, it's not default. I think it's just something got wrong somewhere along the way. That the best that we can do is we know how to copy this thing. Once you show the average Nigerian how to do something, they will do it. But then they're not really taught how to replicate. Remember what you mentioned. I've done my job. If I've taught you, and then you can replicate it, then I have coached you. So I had to say, which place in the world can deliver my ideas the way I want to? I was searching all around the world. Now, I have an approach. I don't see myself as, because I'm Nigerian, therefore I cannot step beyond borders. It's a global world. So if the person that is going to deliver my idea is under the sea in Antarctica, I will go there and I'll get the person out to deliver what I want. So I was deliberate initially to get what I needed, everything, the way I wanted it. I brought it down and I said, okay, guys, these are a pool of people. Come together. I want to teach you something. And we deconstructed. One thing, anytime I have a new idea and I know that I can't find the person locally to do it, I look outside, bring it back in again, and then have them deconstruct it. And then we start to move that way. It was expensive, and it is still expensive, but this is the price of being deliberate. And because I have a patriotic spirit, and I believe that the problem with Nigeria is not Nigerians, it's just because the system is not working in our favor. If you give us a good system, if you instill the right values within us, you'll be amazed what we'll do.
Absolutely.
That's why when Nigerians step outside of the shores of this country, we do amazing things, amazing stuff. So it's one decision I've made as an entrepreneur. It's my giving back to the system, it's my paying it forward to say, okay, I know how to do this. How do I begin to train people to think the way I think? So when you even come to any of my training sessions or classes, I'm not really particular about the technical. I'm particular about the idea behind it.
In mind.
You need to understand the idea behind it, because I always say the man that knows the why is greater than the man that knows the how.
Wow. Now we thought we had time, but time just flew by.
Very quickly. I
I'm
just
telling
realized
you.
it's 3 minutes to the end of the show.
We're gone, actually, we're done.
Amazing. Yeah.
But Diola, we have to bring you back, please. By all means, we need to talk more, because a lot of businesses need to hear this.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we just say, what's the biggest challenge for business? Everybody just say finance.
Money. No,
but there is
it goes
so
beyond.
much more. And I love having
funding.
you and Milola share, your business experiences. It's been an amazing conversation. We'll hope to host you again and again and again and again. I'm coming September 1st. She's doing something. She's launching something. I'm coming there.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much, Diola. Thank you so much. Thank you, Milola.
You're welcome, babes.
All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand and following the conversation. So do well to follow us now. It's at PlusTvAfrica. All right, before we go, if you missed the quote again today, here it is again. Small business is not for the faint of heart. It's for the brave, the patient, and the persistent. It's for the overcomer.
Absolutely.
In Nigeria especially.
Particularly.
We'll see you guys next week as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Ciao.
And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akuga as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akuga. Leading to this package is a report on the recent coronation of His Royal Majesty Ogiame Atuwashe III, the 21st Olu of Warri Kingdom. In our second report, we bring you more reactions from stakeholders in the Niger Delta region to the passage and subsequent signing into law of the Petroleum Industry Bill. We will, in the course of the program, take a look at how some defaulting contractors hurriedly returned to site to beat the deadline for the just concluded forensic audit exercise of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, at Ozuoba community in Obiakpa local government area of Rivers State. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back after this timeout. Don't go away.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. A man's destiny can be delayed, but not denied. And power comes from the Almighty God, and He only decides who to entrust it with. These are popular sayings that aptly describe the journey of Prince Shola Emiko to the exalted throne of Warri Kingdom as Ugame Atuashe III. In this report, we will take you through the journey from when he was presented as Olu Designate on the 5th of April 2021 to the day of his coronation, the 21st of August 2021.
Prince Shola Emiko, lọ́jọ́ ni wéwé. Ṣẹ́kìrì Dẹ́mi Déhùn.
Chief Gabriel Awala, the Uwangwe of Warri, performing the coronation of Prince Shola Emiko as Ugame Atuashe III, the 21st Olu of Warri Kingdom. The journey to the coronation last Saturday, 21st of August 2021, was tasking, difficult, challenging, and almost sabotaged. Following the demise of Ugame Ekenwole I, the 20th Olu of Warri Kingdom, in December 2020, and a disagreement within the Olu's Advisory Council under the leadership of Chief Ayiri Emami, the Ologbosheri of Warri Kingdom, over the selection process of an Olu designate, the council, known in the Shekiri language as Ojoye Isan, was reconstituted. Now under the leadership of Chief Johnson Amachunelege, the Iyasheri of Warri Kingdom, the Ojoye Isan formally presented Prince Shola Emiko to the Shekiri National Assembly as the Olu designate, otherwise known as Omoba. As tradition demands, his first duty as Olu designate was to perform the Iken rites, which is the process of moving the remains of Ugame Ekenwole to the royal burial ground in Ijala for interment. Next was Idanike, the traditional rites of seclusion for 3 lunar months, preparatory to ascending the throne. While in Idanike, he received tutelage on the history, customs and traditions of the Shekiris, as well as national politics, global issues, diplomacy, as well as the conduct and courage of an Olu of Warri Kingdom. Before last Saturday's coronation, there were several attempts to sabotage the coronation. First, the 400-year-old crown used for the coronation of an Olu of Warri was stolen from the palace. Also, Chief Ayiri Emami and Prince Oyowole Emiko, in 2 separate legal suits, also tried to stop the coronation. They, however, failed to secure injunctions to stop the coronation process. Sensing his inability to stop the coronation through the courts, Prince Oyowole resorted to self-help by declaring himself as Olu designate awaiting coronation. However, when the Nigerian police released documents officially declaring him wanted, he fled into hiding. The obvious failure of Prince Shola Emiko's detractors to stop the coronation eventually gave way to frustration. Less than 48 hours before the coronation, inside the Niger Delta cameras caught disgruntled youths in Warri destroying posters and decorations announcing the coronation ceremony. In spite of everything, the coronation was definitely going to go on as planned. Friday,